July 28. List of July 28 major news events. 1914 World War I begins. 1920 Mexico Francisco Villa surrenders. 1932 Federal troops under the order of President Hoover forcibly dispersed the bonus army of 17,000 World War I veterans. 1965 50,000 extra troops to Vietnam. 1972 UK dock strike begins. 1976 China earthquake kills 250,000. 1978 gold reaches $200 per ounce. 2013 Brazil Pope Francis holds mass on beach. 1932 bonus army, World War I. 1932 federal troops under the order of President Hoover forcibly dispersed the bonus army of 17,000 World War I veterans who had gathered in Washington, D.C. on June 17 to demand money they weren't scheduled to receive until 1945. The troops under the command of General Douglas MacArthur and Major George S. Patton are ordered to charge into the veterans and were sent to destroy the temporary shacks in the bonus army's camps in Hooverville on the Anacostia Flats, forcing the marchers out. By the end of the day, hundreds of veterans were injured, and several were killed. The World War I vets, like everybody else in the country, were suffering with no jobs and money during these early years of the Great Depression and wanted the service certificates they had earned while fighting in World War I paid out early. 1914 World War I begins. 1914 following the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, by Gavrilo Princip, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. Within 1 month, countries across Europe had formed alliances and declared war on other alliances. The main alliances in the early period of the war were Entente powers, or the Allied powers, consisted of British Empire, France, Russian Empire, Italy, United States. Central powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire and Bulgaria. 1920 Mexico Francisco Villa surrenders. 1920 Francisco Villa, the notorious bandit, has surrendered unconditionally to the Provisional Government of Mexico. 1931 USA monoplane race. 1931 a race between two powerful monoplanes got underway. Today, starting from New York, the race is to Istanbul, over 5,500 miles away. They are also hoping to break the current long-distance record of 4,912 miles non-stop. 1945 plane crashes into Empire State Building. 1945 a B-25 Mitchell bomber crashes into the 79th story of the Empire State Building, killing 14 people. The freak accident was caused by heavy fog. Part of 1925 accessories. Frosted berry cluster hat. Price $2.25. New style of smart becomingness. Rich-looking rayon fail crown in clever draped style. Also in wing effect at side. Hemp straw braid brim. Short fitting at back. Bright color frosted grape cluster to harmonize. 1956 USA Elvis Presley. 1956 Elvis Presley scores his second #1 hit with I Want You, I Need You, I Love You, following his April #1, Heartbreak Hotel. 1965 50,000 extra troops to Vietnam. 1965 President Johnson informed fellow Americans that he is adding 50,000 troops to the U.S. forces currently in Vietnam, for a total of 125,000 soldiers. 1972 UK dock strike begins. 1,972 to 42,000 registered dock workers begin a national strike over container companies using cheap labor and concerns over compulsory redundancies. After 1 week, the government under Edward Heath proclaimed a state of emergency, which allowed the use of the British Army to unload cargo. 1976 China earthquake kills 250,000. 1976 an earthquake measuring between 7.8 and 8.2 magnitude on the Richter scale flattens Tangshan, a Chinese industrial city with a population of about 1 million people. The quake killed an estimated 242,000 people in Tangshan and surrounding areas, making the earthquake one of the deadliest in recorded history. 1978 Lebanon-Syrian attacks. 1978 The United States, Canada and Great Britain have advised nationals to leave Lebanon as quickly as possible due to increased Syrian attacks on Lebanon Christians, and are leaving only a skeleton staff in their embassy. 1978 gold reaches $200 per ounce. 1978. The price of gold has reached an all-time high on the bullion market of $200 per ounce. Investors usually invest in gold during monetary instability and the steady decline in the value of the dollar has sent many U.S. investors into the gold market. 1982 Israel attack West Beirut. 1982. Israel bombers and fighters are blasting large areas of West Beirut, attacking any area or building they believe may house PLO Palestinian Liberation Army guerrillas. After nightfall, the PLO guerrillas returned fire on Israeli positions using rockets and mortar fire. 1999 USA Y2K compliance. 1999. Federal regulators from the SEC have given until August 1st for brokerage firms to prove compliance with Y2K, or a court order will be obtained to close them down on December 31st Street. 2004 USA John Kerry. 2004. The Democratic National Convention in Boston nominated John Kerry Democratic nominee for president. 2005 IRA announces end of armed struggle. 2005. The IRA has formally ordered an end to its armed campaign and has announced the Republican organization will follow a democratic path ending more than 30 years of violence. The announcement is received on all sides as an important way forward following the Good Friday Agreement signed in 1997. 2006 Haiti former Prime Minister Yvonne Neptune released. 2006. Yvonne Neptune was released from prison in Haiti on this day. Neptune was a former Prime Minister of Haiti and was held in prison for 2 years without ever being convicted of a crime. Neptune had denied the charges he was held on. He had been charged in connection to the killings of opposition to the ex-president of Haiti, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. 2008 Iraq suicide bombers. 2008. On this day 3 suicide bombings took place in Baghdad, Iraq, killing 28 people and injuring 90 people. The suicide attacks were carried out by female bombers and were aimed at disrupting a Shia Muslim pilgrimage to the Kadimia Shrine. 2009 Tanzania banking for women. 2009. A bank opened in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania that was aimed at helping women with their savings. The bank, the first of its kind in Tanzania, made it easier for women to open accounts and encouraged the empowerment of women in the country. 2011 Bangladesh bus crash kills 17. 2011. At least 17 people died and another 20 people were injured when a passenger bus crashed into a truck in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Survivors of the accident blamed the bus driver for the crash, stating that he was driving recklessly at high speeds. 2012 First gold of the London 2012 Games won. 2012. China's Yi Siling won the first gold of the London Olympic Games in the women's 10 meters air rifle competition. Sylvia Bogacka won the silver medal while China's Yu Dan won the bronze. 2013 Brazil Pope Francis holds Mass on beach. 2013. Pope Francis held Mass for over 3 million people who had gathered to hear him on Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Pope Francis had been there on a 5-day trip to Brazil to visit a Catholic youth festival on his first foreign trip since he became the Pope.